Okay, so I think we can start the today's session, Sandeep. So
Yeah,
before
sure.
starting, you have any question on any topic which already covered?
No, Mukesh, actually, I just got the second job yesterday, so I was not
Oh,
feeling
great.
well for the whole day. I didn't get chance to see that the last session. You can continue with this one, Mukesh. I will refer and I will get back to you next week in case if I have any questions.
Okay, okay, fine. So even if the training is also completed, then even after that also you can reach out to me to if you have any question. Okay. So
Yes,
no
sure,
worry about
Mukesh.
that. So whenever you have the any type of the question, so you can reach out to me. Okay. So
Yes,
today
sure.
topic is the stored procedure and the error handling and exception handling. So error handling and the uh, exception handling both are the same. So this come under the transaction management and the store procedure. Okay. So first I will discuss the store procedure, and in within the store procedure only I will discuss about the transaction management and the error handling and the exceptional handling. Okay, so these three topic I will cover today. So what is the basic of the stored procedure? Okay, so procedure is the nothing but the whatever the code you writing. Okay, so like for example, if you write the simple code that you retrieving the data from more than two table or even the single table, so whatever the code you written, so if you want to store into the any of in the database, so we can use in the future also. That is the called the store procedure, and the store procedure is the backbone of the database. Okay, so uh, store procedure is helpful in each and every area, like the for the execution point of view, for the code reuse point of view, for the uh, developer point of view, and also the execution timing as well. So the definition of the store procedure is nothing but more than the prepared SQL code that you save so you can reuse the code over and over again. Okay, so for example, suppose if you retain 100 line of the code that the achieving some type of the requirement to get the some type of the report point of view, or the you updating some type of the data, so you return 100 line of the code, and that code is very useful for any of the developer on daily basis or the weekly basis or monthly basis. Means this code is using over and over again. Okay, so the normal way what you can do, you can save the code into the some SharePoint location, and whenever it required, you need to open the code and you need to execute the code. Okay? So it will take more time to search the code, to find the code where exact code is there. Might be you taken the wrong code also. So this type of the error is come in possibility. But if the code you put into the form of the store procedure, and the code is available into the store procedure, and there is no chances to select the incorrect code. Okay, so and also you no need to go to the SharePoint location something there, so you can directly execute the store procedure, and the entire code will be executed at a time. Okay, so the code will be saved into the database. So and also uh, when we execute the store procedure, they use the execution plan. Okay, so the execution plan, I will let you know. So, but uh, when you use the execution plan, the execution time will be faster as compared to the normal code. Okay, so suppose I have two code. One is the without store procedure, and one is the with store procedure. Okay, so if you execute the code, both the code, the store procedure code will be executed in the less time as compared to the normal code. So the execution plan, that is be I will show you when we discuss about the performance tuning. But the execution plan is nothing but that if you execute the any of the code in the backend, the SQL engine will generate some type of the path. Okay, so what step we need to take? Okay, so for example, suppose if you executed the code, the table have the indexes or not. Okay, so from what indexes they need to use. So in the backend, SQL engine will generate the execution plan, and then the execution plan, once generated, entire stored procedure they use the same execution plan. But if you compare to the other code, each and every time they will generate the new execution plan. That is the reason the stored procedure is much faster than compared to the normal code. Okay, so the coming to the store procedure. Okay, so uh, type of the store procedure, we have the two type. Okay, one is the user defined store procedure, and the second one is the system defined store procedure. Okay, so whatever the store procedure is created by the user, okay, that is the called the user defined store procedure. And whatever the store procedure which is already available into the system, that is the called the system defined store procedure. For example, we already used in the last session that sp underscore help sp underscore help text. So the store procedure which is the system defined, we always start with the sp underscore. Okay, so if any of the inbuilt store procedure which is the start with the sp underscore, that is the called the system defined store procedure. But the store procedure which is the created by the user, that is the called the user defined store procedure. Okay, again within the user defined store procedure, we have the without parameter store procedure, and second one is the with parameter store procedure. Okay, so I will discuss all this one by one. Without parameter store procedure and with parameter store procedure, how we can create store procedure. So any questions until we have in the theoretically part, then I will go to the practical.
You can go to the practical because I frequently use the help text to identify the tables, not table structure. Um,
Yes.
who how it's been defined and who defined that store procedure. Everything I wish to see in the uh, HP underscore. I frequently use that command.
Okay, so the sp underscore help text is basically whenever the SQL server is installed, by default this store procedure is available. Okay, so so system defined store procedure, you no need to worry about that. Okay, so just you need to create the just you need to use the store procedure as per the requirement. Okay, got it, Sandeep?
Sure. Yeah, got it.
Hi, Pawan. So I'm just starting the store procedure. Okay, so today discussing
Hi.
the
Okay,
store
actually, I
procedure.
had started late, so sorry
No,
for
no,
that.
I'm just no problem. I'm just going to start the how you can create the store procedure. Okay, so you not lost.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so the first part of the store procedure is the without parameter store procedure. Okay, so in without parameter store procedure, what will be happen? Okay, so there is no parameter is there. So for example, suppose I have this part of the code. Okay, so this part of the code I required into the daily basis to generate this some type of the report. Okay, so what will be if you require daily basis this report? Okay, so uh, you need to save this code to anywhere and any of the SharePoint location, or whenever they required you need to open this file, you can execute this file, and you can close this file again next time whenever they required, again you need to open the file. So but in the SQL server, we have the option to create the store procedure to save this part of the code. Okay, into form of the store procedure, and whenever the execute is required, we need to execute the only store procedure. Okay, so no need to execute the entire code here. Okay, so if you execute the store procedure, by default this all the code will be executed. So how we can convert this code into the store procedure? So while creating the store procedure, you need to use the create procedure name. But before, as per the best practices, okay, so real time, okay, so we need to check that this name is already available or not. Okay, so for one name, we cannot create the duplicate store procedure. Okay, so it will throw the error. Okay, that if the store procedure name is already available into the database. So for this reason, I'm first checking that if this I already discussed about the sys dot object where this all the object information is available, and I'm checking that where name is equal to whatever the name is going to create, and the type is equal to p is for the procedure, okay, store procedure. So if any of the null value is available, means this procedure is checking like and now you can check this is no value is available, so this part of the code will not execute. If the store procedure is already available, they first drop the store procedure, and then we create the store procedure. Okay, so to creating the store procedure, you need to write the syntax create procedure and the procedure name, and after that you need to give the edge and the begin and the body, whatever the code do you want. Okay, so you can put here this all the code. Okay, and after that you need to put the end and go. Okay, so once you execute this part of the code, so this store procedure got created. Okay, so how you can see that this procedure is created or not. Okay, so there are two ways there. So just you can go back to the database, okay, and refresh the database. So once the database refresh is completed, you can just click on the plus icon, and we have the programmability. So here we have the store procedure. So within the store procedure, you can see just now I created without parameter store procedure. So this procedure is created here. Okay. So and also you can put the sys object. Okay, name like this. This part of the code, if you put this like start from. Okay, so you can also find the all the procedure which is the created in the system. So but if you not put the name, so for example if you remove the name here, so you will get all the procedure name which is available into database like the whatever the procedure is created. So now you can see uh, I have just now I have only one store procedure is created. So only one procedure name is coming. So this procedure is created. Now also you can how next step is how you can execute the store procedure. So next time whenever they require this execute this part of the code, no need to execute the complete code. Okay, so just you can execute the procedure. Okay, so for executing the procedure, you can just write the execute and the procedure name. You can also write the complete execute, okay, and the procedure name. So if you execute this part of the code, all the whatever the code is available in the body, all this output will be displayed in this. So in the future, suppose if anyone want to use this code, so just you need to share this procedure name or to the client or the other developer. So they will do just they will execute the store procedure and they will got the all the output here. So next time they will just execute this procedure and they will got the all the output. So all entire the body whenever the execute command is pressed, okay, so whatever the code available in the body, all the code will be executed in the backend. Okay, so this is a way we can create the without parameter store procedure. Any questions, Chantil, Pawan?
No, okay, all good.
Okay, so you can also see what is the code. Like for example, any of the store procedure which is created by the other developer. You don't know the what is the logic is used into the store procedure or what is the code involved into the store procedure. Okay, so just you can use the system defined store procedure, that is the sp underscore help text. Okay, so just you can put the sp underscore help text and the procedure name, and if you execute this one, you can see all the code will be displayed. Just you can right click and the copy and go to the new window. Okay, so just you can replace this code. Okay, so now you can see here this code is involved into the store procedure. If you required the any modification, just you can put the alter here, and you can change the procedure also. So this is a way you can also alter the procedure. So just you can put the alter procedure and the procedure name. So next one is the with parameter store procedure. Okay, so uh, without parameter is very simple. Okay, so whatever you have the requirement, whatever you have the code, simply we putting the code into the body. Okay, so all this code is saved into the store procedure. Okay, but the with parameter store procedure. Okay, so little bit very useful in the real time. Okay, so for example, suppose if you want to retrieve the data for the particular one employee information at a certain time. Okay, so suppose I have example here, the around 10 line of the code. Okay, and I use the employee ID two places, but the real time sometimes you have the requirement to 100 line of the code is there, and we have the multiple places, like the we need to filter the particular employee information. Okay, so let example, suppose I have this code only. Okay, so I have this code only, so I need to retrieve the only one employee information, like for example employee ID are two information. So I need to change here the employee ID is equal to 2. Okay, employee ID is equal to 2. Okay, so uh, two places if I execute, so I will get the whatever the two employee information is there. So without changing the code. Okay, so we can make it the parameterized. Okay, so if the parameter value is passed, then whatever the value is passed, they will be you will get the output of that value only. So it's all the same. Okay, so all the syntax will be same, but after the procedure name, within the bracket you need to put the parameter value, like the employee ID int. So I use the employee ID is the parameter. So suppose I want to retrieve the for particular employee information. If I pass the employee ID, I will get the that employee ID information. So I use the employee ID int as begin. So set no count on is basically used for the performance point of view. Okay, so suppose if you execute the any of the store procedure, like for example, without parameter store procedure executed, so in the message you can see 7 row affected, 5 row affected is coming. Okay, so 7 row affected and the 5 row affected in the coming in the output. Okay, so if you if you hide this message. Okay, so if you don't want to print this message because this is no useful. Okay, so if this is no useful, there is no use, so it will increase the performance also. So if you want to don't print this message, just you can use the set no count on, and you can put the code here. So in the code here, at the employee ID is equal to 1 or 2 something is there, you need to put the whatever the parameter value is passed here. And also in the second code also, whatever the parameter value is passed here, you need to put, then you will get the parameterized store procedure. So if you execute this store procedure, okay, so if you execute this store procedure, if you execute this store procedure, so the execution part you need to there are two way you can execute the store procedure, which is the parameters. First way, just you need to pass the value. So what value you required. Okay, so for example, I need the information of employee 3, so I pass here 3 only, so I will get the output of employee 3. If I want to 2 only, I need to change from here parameter value, and I will get the all the value from the employee 2. You can also use the whatever the parameter you declare. Okay, so you can also pass employee is equal to 3 or employee is equal to 4. So you will get all the information of the employee ID 4. So the both way you can use to execute the store procedure. Any question from anyone?
Mukesh, in case so basically, if there is a store procedure where I can pass a parameter, let's say for example, start date, end date. So I just want to select an employee who joined between Jan and August 2021, means I can pass two parameters, right? Start date and
Yes, yes.
end date.
So you can put here the comma separated two parameters, start date and end date.
So when executing the store procedure, I need to give the comma, right? Start date, comma, end date, something like that, or
Yes, yes, start date, comma, end date.
okay, okay, thanks.
So the next one is also we have this small example for the title. Okay, so for example, if you want to get the title based on the parameter value pass, so this is a same very simple example here. So we're retrieving for the dim employee table, so title. So if you create the store procedure and if you pass the title name, you will get the title. Okay, so here also. So the next one, so you can see the title of the design engineer is there. So the next one is the suppose if you have uh, uh, the real time scenario, I have one dim customer table is there. Okay, so in the dim customer table, we have you can see we have the customer ID, means all the column is available. So uh, the requirement is if we pass the English education. Okay, so if you talk about the English education here, we have the bachelor degree, we have the partial college, we have the high school. Okay, so the requirement is if I pass the high school, I need to get the total number of the whatever the customer available into the high school. Okay, so that will be my requirement, and the condition is the user cannot pass the multiple value at a time, like the high school and the partial college at a time. So if the user pass the both the column, both the value at a time, it should be show some type of the error message to the client that you passed the invalid parameter. And also, if any type of the spelling mistake or the value which is not available into the date table, if the user pass, like for example, the middle school is not available or the high school the spelling is wrong, so what will be happen in the real time that the user pass the value if the output is not come, then they will email you or something that the store procedure is not working as expected, and there is some error in the store procedure. Okay, so for this reason you need to pre-validate the store procedure. So pre-validation means the you need to pre-validate the whatever the parameter passed by the user, that is the correct or incorrect. Okay, because the user don't know, if the user have the some problem, then developer not suffer this type of the issue. Okay, so that is the reason you need to pre-validate the any of the parameter value. So how you can pre-validate the parameter value? So I'm creating here this one store procedure, that is the English count is there. So I'm using the input parameter is the English education. Okay, so I use the where 100. So if the requirement first one is the user cannot pass the multiple value. Okay, so for example, suppose user pass the value like this high school and high school and partial college. Okay, so you need to throw the error. Okay, so if the user pass the high school and the partial college at a time, so you need to throw the error that please must supply the single value. So how you can pre-validate that a user pass the multiple value with the comma separated? So we already discussed about the some care index is there. Okay, so care index is basically used to find the position of the any of the value. So for example, suppose if the care index used. So yesterday I discussed about uh, the if condition. So if you select the care index in each education, whatever the value is passed, so if you put here this, suppose the user passed this value in place of English education, they pass the high school, partial college. So I use need to check that comma is available or not. Okay, so if the comma is available, definitely have the value is greater than 0. If there is no comma is available, means the user passed the correct value. Okay, so if the user passed the correct value like this, only high school. Okay, so there is no comma is available, so the care index value will be 0. Okay, so I'm checking that by using the if condition, care index English education value is greater than 0, then we need to begin and print that error message, some please must supply the single value, and the return keyword is basically used to return the from the store procedure. Okay, so if you write the return here, so the store procedure will not execute the next line. Okay, so the store procedure will not execute the next line like the 72 line. they will stop executing here. Okay, means that if any error will become, they print the message and the store procedure will stop executing. Okay, any question till now, anyone? Rahul, Pawan, Senthil?
No question.
No.
Okay, so the next step is the how you can check this value. So this step will check that if the multiple values pass. Okay, so this step is checking that checking if multiple. Okay, so this step just basically checking multiple value passed by the user. Okay, so so the next one is also you need to check that if any of the value that is the high school. Okay, so for example, suppose if you using the select star from dim customer table is there. Okay, so here if you pass the correct value where uh, English education is equal to English education is equal to high school, means whatever the value is available. Okay, so that value if you pass here, so the output will become. Okay, so for example, so suppose here this value is correct, so output will become. For example, I put the incorrect spelling here, the HEIG something there. Okay, so so what will be happen here? So if you try to execute, the output will be come blank. Okay, or for example, suppose any value which is not available, like the middle school has passed in this table. Okay, so this value incorrect passed by the user, so the output will be not come. So for that I'm checking that if not exist. Okay, so if not exist means the select one from the dim customer where English education is equal to English education, means whatever the value is passed. So for the performance point of view, I use the one. You can also use the star, but if we have the million of the record, okay, or the large number of the column available in the database, so performance will be go down. So that's reason one. So if there is no one is available, like suppose if you put the select to one, okay, so here there is no output will become. Okay, so there is no output will become because this is the incorrect. Okay, but if you put the correct data which is available into the database table, so the 111 will be come into the output. Okay, so you can see 111 is coming into the output. So if not exist means the whatever the value is passed by the user, that is the incorrect. Then I'm using the begin condition, and I'm printing that must pass the correct value, and value should be high school, partial college, means whatever the correct value is there, you need to print here, so the user can understand that I passed the incorrect value, and I need to use this value out of this. Okay, and you can again use the return keyword. Okay, because if in any of the incorrect value is supplied by the user, you need to stop the execution of the store procedure. So I use the return keyword, and if there is correct value is passed, so then we'll come to the next step, that like the we need to select the total number of the customer. Okay, so I use the English education and the count function as a total number from the dim customer group by English education. Having clause I use, so we already discussed about the in the aggregated function. So if you want to filter the any of the particular data, so you need to use the having clause, and I put it the English education. Okay, so let me create the store procedure. Okay, so once the store procedure got created, now if you try to execute this value with the two multiple value at a time. Okay, so if you try to execute the English education here, so it will throw the error that please must supply the single value. The store procedure will not execute, so it will throw the error that please must supply the single value. Or if you pass the incorrect value which is not available into the database, so if you execute, like for example, I am passing the middle school something is there. So you can see the error is coming that must pass the correct value, and the value should be used high school, partial college, all the value is printing here. So if you pass the correct value, it will display the total number of the output. Okay. So in the future, if anyone other developer they required for the like bachelor degree, so what they will use, they will just use the execute command. Okay. So just they pass here the high school. Okay. So they pass something like the high school or any of the value which is available into the database. So they pass here, they will get the total number of the customer into the database. So high school have the 3294. Okay. So we whenever we required, we use the store procedure. So this is the called the reusability of the store procedure. So all the code, all this whatever the logic applied, all the logic is stored into the store procedure. That is the store procedure name is the English education count. So this is the way we can reuse the any of the code, any of the requirement for the future point of view. Any question? Anyone?
No question. Okay, all good.
Okay. So the next one is the store procedure is the we also have the input parameter. Okay. So 90% we will use 95% even we will use the only input parameter. But for the interview point of view, sometimes they will also ask you the output parameter store procedure. Okay. So we have the let me create one table that is the deemed student table. Okay. So uh, store procedure we can also create by using the input parameter and the output parameter. Like for example, suppose I pass the input parameter is the employee ID, we will get the full name, some type of the result set. Okay. So so some type of the result set is will use for the another store procedure. That is the reason we sometimes will use 5% only we required this type of the activity, but 95% only we use the input parameter only. But in for knowledge point of view, you need to know how we can use the output parameter also. Okay. So how we can create the input parameter and the output parameter both. So the syntax for the creating the store procedure is the same. So for the input parameter, we're not writing anything after the data type. Okay. But the output parameter store procedure, after the data type, you need to write the out. Okay. So just you can use the comma and the student ID is the input parameter and the student name is the output parameter. So if I pass the student ID, I will get the student name, complete name. So here we need to use the begin and the same thing. And here you need to apply the logic. So what output you required. Okay. So I required the student name. So I'm just concatenating with the first name and the last name from the table student, and I'm passing where student ID is equal to student ID. Okay. So if you create this store procedure, so if you create this store procedure got created, and so the execution step is little bit different to the input parameter. So here while we executing the store procedure, you need to mandatory to declare the variable for the output parameter. Okay. So I need to declare, you need to give the same name or you can give the different name also, there is no issue. I'm giving the same name, that a student name where 200, and I'm executing the store procedure get a student name input parameter, and here the input parameter value. So suppose if I pass the 4, I will get the complete name of the employee ID 4. So we need to use the student name, and here you need to put the output. Okay, here you need to give the out, here need to give the output, and you need to select the value which is a declare. Okay, so if you execute this one, okay, so you will be get the complete name of the Manish Kumar something. So here if you want to change the employee ID, let's see, I'm changing with the employee ID 2, so I will get the complete name of the employee ID 2. Okay, so now you can see Pankaj Kumar is coming. You can also use the multiple output parameter or the multiple input parameter. So just you can same use the comma separated, and here I'm getting the employee name and the student email also. Okay, so same thing I'm creating here. So multiple parameter, we have the input parameter, multiple output parameter is there. So we need to declare the multiple declare value also. So I'm declaring the student name and the student email, and the same you need to put the execute the store procedure and the employee ID and the student name and student email. So if you execute this, you will get the complete of the full name of the employee name and the employee email ID. Okay, so this is a way you can create the input parameter and the output parameter in together. Any question? Little bit tricky if you compare to the for the execution plan, execution step for the normal. So basically, if you have the input parameter only, very simple to execute the, any of these two procedures. Just you can pass write the execute command and the procedure name, and you can pass the value. But if you have together input parameter and the output parameter, we need to always declare the value. Actually, this is the additional step in the output parameter store procedure. Okay, any question? No. So the next one is very important. That is the real time. The data is inserting into the table. Okay, so how data is inserting into the table? Like for example, suppose I have this table, the student information is there. So any GUI, any of the application is created for this table, like the we inserting the student ID, first name, last name, email address. So if in the real time, okay, so if any of the suppose any of the form is created to insert the value, okay, so if you putting the first name, last name, which you filling the all the information, and if you submit the if you clicking on the submit button, so what will be happen in the backend? Okay, so if you press the submit button in the backend, the automatically the store procedure will be execute. Okay, so the store procedure will be execute in the if you submitting the submit button, so data will be insert into the table. Okay, so how we can create the store procedure to insert the data by using the store procedure only. So here I am creating the store procedure, that is the insert student record. So whatever the column or whatever the field you have in the GUI or the web page, all we require the parameter input parameter value. Like we have the first name, last name, student email. Okay, so three column is there, and the student ID you need to make is the identity column. Okay, so if any new record will be inserted, the value got inserted automatically. Okay, so that will be not inserted by the user. You never seen that you inserting the customer ID or the like the employee ID, something there. This is the auto generating key is there in the backend. Okay, so so I created this student first name, last name, and the email. And here I am inserting into the table. So the first name, last name, email. I'm just selecting the whatever the parameter is passed here. So whatever the value is passed by the user, that will be inserted into the table. So once you create the store procedure, okay, and if you try to insert any of the record, okay, so let's see, I am passing the input parameter. So essentially you starting, you said how you can pass the multiple value. So here the example, to pass the multiple value, just you can use the comma. So I use the Mukesh Pandey, M Pandey at gmail.com. So if you try to execute this store procedure, the data will be inserted. So now you can see the table data got inserted. Okay. So this is a way.
Mukesh, one
Yeah.
question. See, for one parameter, can I pass multiple value for one parameter? Oh, this is the one, right?
No, one
With it,
parameter no, I will show you. Yeah, I got
yeah.
a question. Okay. So if you pass the multiple value, so that you need to create the user defined function. Okay, so that will be covered into the you need to cover into the next function. Okay, so you need to split the value. Okay, so for example, if you're trying to pass the like the Mukesh here, and suppose if you pass the comma Rahul. Okay, so this all the value will be insert into this one column. Okay, so but if you require to pass the multiple value and it will go to the new record one by one, so you need to first create the user defined function and you need to split the value, and that will be I will discuss in next Saturday session. Okay, how we can handle
Oh,
this situation. So yes, in the real time we will be using the same thing, and it is possible, but it's possible only when we use the user defined table value function. And table value function, they will just I'm giving you the idea what we'll do. So for example, suppose I pass the Mukesh like Rahul, something like that. So table value function you need to split into the like Mukesh and this and Rahul into the row, second row. Okay, so if the output will become both have the separate operation. Okay, and both record will be separately in the new line. So this will be handled by using the table value user defined function, and that will be covered in next Saturday. Got it?
okay, okay, okay. Now,
So now the next concept is the how we can then we have the multiple one more example which is the also available here for the output parameter. So just you can go here this. So the next one is the how we can call the multiple store procedure. It is the also very important. Okay, so we can also call one within the one store procedure. We can call another store procedure as well. So there is no restriction is there. So suppose if you have the set of 3 or 5 or 10, any number of the store procedure, and if you want to call the all the store procedure in one store procedure with the separate logic also, you can call it. Okay, so for example, suppose I have parameter store procedure one. Okay, so I'm creating this store procedure here to get the information. So for example, I have simple example to get the employee ID1 information is there. Okay, so I another have the store procedure, that is the example 3 is there. So same get retrieving some type of the information. So but 3 we have this department ID is there. Okay, so you need to pass the department ID, then you will get the result set. Okay, for the particular department. Now I'm creating another store procedure, that is the store procedure 2. So the store procedure 2, I want to call both 1 and 3 store procedure within the store procedure 2 only. Okay, so if you want to call 1 and 3 store procedure in 2, you can call. Okay, so one have the employee ID, one have the store procedure is the input parameter is the EMP ID, but second has the department ID. Okay, but two we have the employee ID, the parameter value. So it will work for the one, but the question will come for the three, that the input parameter is the three department ID. So you need to take the department ID. Okay, so here within the store procedure only, I declare the department ID, and we're taking the department ID from the employee ID, and whatever the employee ID pass, for that employee ID we need to take the department ID, and for this is the execution part of the second store procedure. And within the second store procedure, you can execute the store procedure 1 and store procedure 3. So when you execute the store procedure through 2, 1 and 3 also will got executed. Okay, so let's see example here. Example here. So if you execute the employee ID 2, you will get the 3 output. First one is the store procedure 2, and this is the 1, and this is the 3. Okay, so this is a way you can also call the multiple store procedure into the one store procedure. Any question? No. So the next one is
No,
the within. Yeah, you have a question, Rahul?
no, Mukesh. Yeah, all good.
So the next one is the try catch block. Okay, try catch or the error handling. Okay, so basically what will be happen. Okay, so we will always use the try catch block. For example, suppose I have one deemed customer table. Okay, so any of the data. Okay, so I have here around 18,000 record is there. Okay, so for example, suppose if you updating any of the table, so like for example, I'm updating the yearly income for some incrementing the value or updating the value for the entire table. Okay, so once I execute the update command, any type of the unexpected error will be is occurred after updating the 10,000 record. Okay, so suppose 10,000 record is updated and we got some type of the error, and 8,000 record 8,404 record is not updated. So as a developer, it is very difficult to figure out which data is updated or which data is not updated, and also the data got messed up. Okay, so some data is got updated, some data is got not updated. So what will be happen, you cannot figure out that which data is updated and which data is not updated. And as per the ACID property, that will be also I will cover the second last session. So the it is a database rule that is the either you can the update the all the data or the whatever data have been in the original state. So so to handle this type of the situation, we have the error handling is there. Okay, so how you can handle any type of the unexpected error if it occurred into the update or the insert or the delete command. Okay, so we will use the try catch block. Okay, so we have the begin try. Okay, so you need to use the begin try, and within the begin try in the body, you need to put the update command, like whatever you updating, whatever you inserting, whatever you deleting. So in the real time, if you do any type of the update operation or insert operation or delete operation, always use the begin try, and after that you need to use the end try. Okay, so if the begin try, end try, and the begin catch and the end catch, so any type of the error will become this part, that will automatically throw it to this part. Okay, so how you can handle this error handling. Okay, so for example, manually I'm raising the some error, that is I'm dividing 1 by 0. Okay, so I'm using the begin try and the select statement 1 by 0 and begin begin in try. So this part is the begin and end. If the error any error will be occurred, automatically they will come under the catch block. Try will be thrown to the catch block, and we need to print the message that what is the exact message. So error number is basically used to print the error number, and the error message is basically used to print the what is the exact message is there, and the error line, which part of the code you have the error. And if you using the any of the procedure, they will display the procedure name, like the what procedure we have the error. In the real time, we have sometimes using the more than one procedure, and within the one store procedure, and you cannot figure it out that which procedure have the error. Okay, so this region they will print the procedure name, and error severity and the error state is basically the predefined by the database only. So if you execute this part of the code, you will get this all the information, like this is the error number. So if you search the in the Google by the error number, you will get more detail. Okay, and this is the message divided by 0 in counter. Okay, and the which line the error will become. So this is the second line, the error will be in counter, and there is no procedure is there, so it's coming null. And error severity and error state is basically used for the database, so there is no worry about this. Okay, so how we can implement this? How we can implement this logic into the real time? Any question, anyone? No. So let's see the real time example, how we can implement this one. Okay, so So I'm taking the one, I'm creating first one duplicate table of the dim customer here. Okay, so here I have one dim customer duplicate table is there. So this requirement is the here the requirement is mentioned, and the real time also they will put the requirement like this only. So the input parameter is the gender, and the must pass the single value. If user pass the multiple value, will pre-validate the store procedure and throw an error. So SB is the short form of the store procedure, and if the next requirement is if the total children column value is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so we have the total children is greater than or equal to 3, then update the yearly income with double. Okay, so for example, if total children we have the 4, so you need to update this value to the 40,000 to 80,000, and this have the total children is 1, so no need to update this one. So this is the uh, real time scenario based interview question. Okay, so I'm creating the one store procedure, that is the update by gender, and I using the gender is the input parameter. Okay, so I'm first checking that if the gender have the multiple value, like if I pass the M, it will update only for the male. If I pass F, it will update only for the female. Okay, so but if they pass the M comma F, we need to throw the error that invalid parameter is passed, and I use the return keyword here. Next step, I'm creating one temporary table, which is basically storing the all the value which is passed by the user. Like suppose pass the M, we're retrieving all this value into the temporary table for the M, and also I'm creating the index for the uh, increasing the performance of the code, and I'm discussing here by using the loop. Okay, so why I use the loop, I need to check the value. So the loop is also covered while loop, which I already discussed yesterday. That is the reason uh, I completed this requirement by using the while loop. But we can also do without while loop as well. Okay. So here I'm selecting the minimum value and the maximum value for the looping purpose. Okay, so and the yearly income and total children and the customer key. So first I'm checking that maximum is greater than or equal to minimum. So if condition is true, then they will go to this condition. So just I'm setting the yearly income is equal to null and total children is equal to null. You can also this is not the mandatory, but as per the coding based practice, it is always you need to put this some null value. Okay, and the next step is I'm taking the customer key and the yearly income and the total children from the table, temp table which is created above, and I'm putting where id is equal to minimum, and if checking if total children is greater than or equal to 3 only, then I use the begin try and begin transaction. Okay, so begin transaction I'm using because we need to use the commit transaction. Okay, so I put it the update statement here. So so update statement, I need to update the dim customer dupe table, which is only have the greater than 3 equal to 3 children for the double of the yearly income. So if any type of the error will become, it will go to the begin catch here, and when they go to the begin catch, we need to immediate roll back the transaction. Okay, so immediate roll back the transaction. So whatever, suppose any 5,000 record is updated, so immediately will roll back the transaction. But if the any no there is no error will become, so they automatically commit the transaction. So if there is no error will become, they will never go to this part. If any type of the error will become, only they will go this part, and after that I put it the else, because of this if the children doesn't have these greater than or equal to 3, I'm just printing the message for the client point of view that a customer having less than 3 children and number of the children. I use the cast function here. So this is the integer data type. Okay, so total children. So you need to use to convert to the varchar data type. Okay, so I use the cast function in the convert when we use the inbuilt function, that is the convert. So just basically use converting the data type to integer to varchar, because this is the varchar value. So you need to make all the consistent. And next, I'm incrementing the minimum is equal to minimum plus 1, and I'm also selecting the value which is the updated, like the temporary table is there. So I use the temp table to join. So whatever the record is updated by the user, that value will be displayed in the output. So if you execute this part of the code, so let's create the store procedure first. Okay, so let's create the store procedure. So the store procedure got created. Okay, so for example, now you can see this table is there. So this table is there. So if I pass the m comma f at a time, so it will throw the error. This is the invalid parameter value is there. Okay, so you can see the output is coming invalid parameter. But if you pass the only f, so the output will be only m. The value will be update for the male employee only. Okay, so if you execute this one, it will take some time because I already used the while loop. So they will loop the entire row by row, and it will be executed. Meanwhile, anyone have any question on the part of the code? I know this little bit tricky. Okay, so just you can go to the code and try to understand, because this part of the code I use the while loop, I use the if condition, I use the temp table, I use the indexes, each and everything, carry indexes, convert function. So all the use. So now you can see the our data got updated here. Okay, so this data is so I use the yearly income previously. So now you can see this is the data got updated. So this is the old data, this is the new data is updated for only which children have the greater than equal to 3 only. Okay, now you can see here also 5 we have got updated. But if you can see, look up the data table, the data is not updated for any of the female employee. Okay, so now you can see this female employee data is not updated. You can see even the 40,000 is there. Okay, because we parameterize based on the male employee only. Anyone have any question? How we can use the try catch block within the any of their update command?
No, Mukesh. No.
Okay, so I have couple of practice question available in the bottom of this part of the code only, and I will also upload the more into the drive. Okay, so the requirement of the store procedure is that we have dim customer table is there. Okay, so within you can see we have the adventure work email address is there. Okay, so you need to create the store procedure based on the English education. Okay, so based on the English education, we have the column here, bachelor or the. So if I pass the bachelor, you need to update the email address is equal to john24 at the rate google.com. Okay, so if I pass the English education as a bachelor, we need to update it the google.com. If you pass the partial college, you need to update as the yahoo.com. And if I pass the graduate degree, you need to use the fb.com. Other than these three value, if I pass the any of the value, you need to update all the that is the abc.com. Okay, so please try to do this one example. Okay, and if you're not able to complete this assessment, you can let me know. I will discuss in tomorrow. Okay, so try to create the store procedure.
Yeah, sure, Mukesh.
Okay. Okay, so the next session I will discuss about uh, uh, the user-defined function and the dynamic SQL and the ACID property and isolation level we have. Okay, so just you can keep practice, and we will meet again on next Saturday. Okay, any
Thank
question
you.
from anyone?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, bye.